Let's look at wall footings now. And I'm using the same file that I used in the previous video of the columns. And if you open up your 3D view, you're going to see these kind of orange lines in here. Those are from the analytical model. Okay, and so Revit, when you're creating structural elements, you can turn on or turn off analytical when you're creating the objects. If I select this foundation wall, let's see, room bounding, data, structural. Maybe it's in the options up in the type, but that only shows up on the structural drawings. On the other architectural type drawings, so those lines won't show up. But anyway, so what we've got here is a series of 12-inch concrete walls. They used retaining walls when this file was made, but that's okay. It's still a 12-inch concrete wall. So you can place foundations in either a plan view or in a 3D view. Either one, it works, both ways. That's fine. So I'm going to come here and on my structural tab, I come over here to foundations, and I want to use the wall foundation tool. And what this is for what we would call linear footings, or, wall footing, something that has links to it. And the types for these, okay, are based on the size. And right, it has two of them loaded here, okay. Oh, that's a retaining footing. So I'm looking at bearing footings, which is what we want for a wall, okay. And so we look at, to edit the type, if we want to change the size of it, the width and the thickness of our footing, we need to duplicate and create a new one. Okay, because once you change the sizes here, it's not changing the name. And then anybody who sees your file or any reports generated from it, from a material takeoff standpoint, will have those quantities in the wrong place. Okay. So I'm going to come back and look at some of these other stuff later, but we want to place one here now. And really the only option up here is selecting multiple. So I can pick a wall, and you see it placed it. And I can continue going around, picking multiple walls. Okay. We can come in and I'm going to delete those. And so if I start it over again, and if I go select multiple, then I can select all those walls and go finish. And it'll, it's, if you got the same size footing on if all you have are your foundation walls, you could do that. Okay, so let's look at these. If I if I select it, I cannot adjust the width of it here. That is in the type properties where I can adjust the width of it, but I can't adjust the length of it. I could grab and drag that out, okay. Or in my type properties, I can change right here default end extension length. I can make a change there. And I'm going to make it 4 feet just so it'll be visible. Okay. And so let's measure that. So what happened with it? In extension links. Oh, here we go. Do not break it inserts. That's what I was looking for. And it's in the type properties. You notice in the wall up there, I had some doors. Doors and window openings here, especially a door opening. And if There we go. Now we got the extension there. Let's take that one out and go back in and change that. Do not break at inserts. So I'll change that so that it does break at inserts. Okay. And this is one continuous wall. If you look in our 3D view, it's a continuous wall with two openings in it. And so there, it created a break. So it depends on your whatever building that you have as to what that is going to look like. And I'm going to change that back to something a little more sensible at a 1. Oh, because it's going to the end of the wall here and it's going over 1 foot. So let's go ahead and put one on here. Okay. Okay, so now that's bearing footings, because if you notice, we had an option here. I want to talk about eccentricity, because sometimes we may have a wall. So I want to talk about eccentricity. So if you have a structural wall, whether it's concrete or CMU, and then you have brick or veneer or something on the exterior of it, or even on the interior of it, the wall footing, the way footings work, is they center themselves under the wall, under the center of the wall. So there's the wall, there's my footing. What eccentricity does is it moves the footing away from the center of the wall. So if I had brick out here, and I needed the structure of the footing directly underneath the wall, but not centered on the brick also. This is how you deal with it. And so a positive value, I'm going to say 6 inches, a positive value moves the footing to the exterior side. And a negative value would move it to the interior side. And so that's what we're talking about with eccentricity. Okay, so let me back that up. If the footing if we change it from a bearing footing to a retaining wall footing. Now, retaining walls are different and work differently because they have what is known as a toe and a heel in Revit. So we'll go to our edit type here. And so we got the toe, which is the distance on the maybe I got that backwards. Yeah, because here's the exterior side. So the toe would be the interior side, which is the distance here. And the heel would be the exterior side right here. Because with a retaining wall, your footing itself will extend farther into the high side of the dirt, if that makes any sense, okay? So that as the dirt is pushing against the wall, the footing is trying to push up against the dirt at the same time. And so those can be adjusted here, but that's only on the retaining wall footing, okay? So let me change that back. Okay, so that kind of covered foundation wall or footings.